Hey you guys, how are you doing? As you might have guessed from my last video, I'm still alive. And all thanks to toilet paper and a strict diet of frozen pizza. Oh, the wonders of the modern world. I also rediscovered my love for beat 'em ups, and I took the time and ventured on an epic journey to replay and rediscover some of my favorite last gen titles. So I dusted off my trustworthy PS3 and found some hidden gems from the previous generation, which helped me survive these dire times. So here is my essential games to survive a crisis, or my top 10 best hidden gems on PlayStation 3. These games have somewhat vanished from the average gamer's mind. So it's time to shine some light on these amazing games. As a little hands up, you won't find any system sellers like Uncharted or Resistance on this list. I think most gamers know about these classics, but a good mix of hidden gems and somewhat forgotten AAA title games. With that said, you know the drill. Grab yourself some pizza and a coffee, kick back and make yourself comfortable, and let's get the kick out of gaming. When I announced this video, I asked you guys which game is your favorite hidden gem on PlayStation 3, and my boy Cass thinks that Singularity is pretty underrated. And I have to agree. It's a really cool old school shooter with time travel mechanics. I might even have to talk about it in a later video. Another game that was brought up by Fussy was Anarchy Reigns. Sadly, I never had the chance to jump into the multiplayer of this game, but playing as Jack from Mad World is always a win in my books. If you have any games you think deserve some recognition, let me know in the comments down below. So, with a new gen of consoles around the corner, collecting for an outdated system became incredibly cheap, so you can get most of these games for just a few bucks. And with that said, let's kick off this list with Fist of the Northern Star, Ken's Rage. This is an excellent game, where you can just dive in for a quick session and have a bloody good time. It accomplished something that people used to enjoy in games: having fun. When you punch 4 or 5 people at the same time in the face and watch their heads explode, you will feel accomplished. The core gameplay here is decent enough, plus a simple leveling system and some outstanding boss battles, and you're left with a great game. It's a callback to the great beat 'em up classics, like the next gem on this list, Dead to Rights Retribution. This is what I call a simple fun game. Quick pick up and play, the equivalent of a B-action movie flick. Good entertainment for a few hours. Retribution is an average shooter with some stealth elements, but the main selling point is your partner with the cold snout. You pet him and even control him for some levels. And this good boy can rip and tear. And talking about rip and tear, the Splatterhouse remake. If you like blood, heavy metal and black humor, this is definitely your game. I love this game so freaking much. The best comparison I can make is the movie Evil Dead 2. A bit rough around the edges, but a bloody fun time. This remake pays tribute to the original arcade game in the best way possible, adding details to an already engaging story. The gameplay is extremely raw and unforgiving, which makes you scream out of frustration several times, but it also will definitely keep you glued to the screens for the 12 levels. And another fact, you can unlock all 3 previous Splatterhouse games. This is a major plus and an epic win in my books. To quote the main characters of the next game on this list, honor the craft of death. Warhammer 40k Space Marines! I always wanted to know more about the Warhammer world. Everything looked so badass. But I'm not really a big RTS fan, so when I finally got my hands on a copy of Space Marines, I was hyped. And this game delivered. Overall, Space Marines is an mind-blowing experience due to the well-paced story and well-handled gameplay and upgrade system. You can run wild in the Warhammer world. It may not be the best or most original action game, but it's a fine first outing for the franchise and a raw jam for action-adventure focused Warhammer fans. Like the next game on this list, it doesn't need an introduction. Wolfenstein, or better, the Wolfenstein game nobody's talking about. It works similar to BioShock, with a World War II setting and some supernatural elements, a bit of upgrading, exploring and fun gameplay mechanics. This equals a good time. The only downside, this game is somewhat hard to come by, because it is a prime example of the nightmarish fate that a game could suffer in the digital gaming industry. The worst case scenario. It is not listed on any digital storefront anymore, so buying a legitimate copy is not possible. The horrors of the modern video game industry. So the only way to get hold of Wolfenstein is to get a physical copy or download it somewhere else. The next game on this list had it rough too, because it didn't sold very well. Brutal Legend. This game is the definition of a hidden gem. Brutal Legend, a single player open world game unlike anything you've ever played. And it has one of the best and unique takes on real-time strategy too. If you have a single humorous gene in your body, you will love this game. Brutal Legends is unique, has great music, is fun as hell, and stars freaking Jack Black. Aside from that, the gameplay simply kicks ass. A love letter to rock music and heavy metal. This game will rock you hard, like the next game did its comic roots. The Darkness 2. The Darkness 2? Some of you might think, well, the Darkness 1 was a better game, why choose 2? And to be honest, I like both games. So I closed my eyes and randomly picked one. I like to keep things professional on my channel. If you haven't played the first game, don't worry. The Darkness 2 got you covered. With the intro retelling the events of the first game. From the opening sequence straight into the action, the gripping storyline is a thrill ride that grabs you from the beginning till the end. Embrace the darkness with its twisted humor, lifelike characters, gore, adventure, and amazing cel-shading graphics. This could easily be a blockbuster movie. And using the darkness powers to unleash more carnage never gets old. This game is a little bit short, but it stands out from the crowd, even years after its release. It is a satisfying sequel that builds on the ideas of the first game. I could talk about this game for hours. Okay, probably not. That's just my way of transitioning into the next game. Prototype 2. Did anyone say global virus outbreak? This game is fitting the current situation a bit too well. And if you think the previous games were too violent, then you better prepare yourself, because Prototype 2 cranks it up to 11. If you are not sensitive to these topics and don't mind some blood, gore and constant F-bombing, then you found the right game. An all-time favorite of mine, amazing story. Most of the enemies are evil as fuck. Evil corporations and government officials are trying to take over the world. This is how I imagine America in a few years from now. Maybe just a few months. But one thing is for sure. This story is only get more relevant over time. Prototype 2 has one of the best open worlds ever created. And on top of that, fun and challenging gameplay, with slow-mo ripping your enemies into pieces. Like, seriously, what the fuck is even happening here? But honestly, this is one of the more creative franchises out there, since it's not based on any source material and has an interesting world to explore and unique powers to unlock. And it had a great feel of progression during the whole game. You always unlock new stuff and get new powers to play around with. So far, the prototype series ended with part 2, another great series lost in the 7th gen. A loss the gaming industry might never fully recover from. And lost in gaming limbo like the next game series on this list. And the second place, Deus Ex Human Revolution. This was a close call and a hard choice to make. But Deus Ex Human Revolution got in second. Still, this is one of my all-time favorites, and if I had to choose one game which I played most during quarantine and even during the 7th gen, then it would have to be Human Revolution. The setting, the story, the gameplay, pure perfection. The world and level design is open enough so you can choose your own playstyle. Shoot, sneak or talk your way through this epic cyberpunk adventure. This is a highly recommended game, and with Cyberpunk 2077 around the corner, this is the perfect time to replay this masterpiece. Beating punks in the streets, jumping 3-story buildings, and 360 no-scoping with explosions, these are some of my favorite things in life. And this is the reason why Deus Ex Human Revolution is one of my favorite games of all time. And now, drumroll please, number 1, the one and only, the definitive hidden gem on PS3, Ninja freaking Gaiden Sigma 1. You thought I would make a top 10 list without Ninja Gaiden? You thought wrong. This game speaks to me and it says, I'm the best hidden gem on PS3, period. Thanks Ninja Gaiden, I already knew that. Experiencing the original 3D Ninja Gaiden with updated graphics was a sight to behold. And while it made some questionable changes to the difficulty, it's always fun to return to my favorite game of all time. Plus, this version got some extra levels and characters. Ninja Gaiden is the greatest hack and slash game ever made. In my opinion. I feel like I need to say that. That's it guys! My top 10 hidden gems on PlayStation 3. I hope you enjoyed this trip to the past and maybe found a game you like. Or one you still need to play. Let me know which PlayStation 3 game was your favorite hidden gem. Which game didn't get the recognition it deserved. And why is it Ninja Gaiden 1? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, kick the like button, sharing is caring, and subscribe. But most importantly, have a great day and get the kick out of gaming.